Welcome to another YouTube autism video. Before I start, I just want to say I hope you and your family are all well and safe and healthy and getting through this crazy time with this coronavirus that's going on. I did a talk last week for Autism 360 and I just wanted to share it. I'm stuck in my house, so I just thought, well, I'll just split the talk into two parts. I'm going to share the first part with you today, and then I'm going to share the second part tomorrow. So I hope you enjoy it. It's basically about my son and his experiences and the journey we had with autism strategies. Please don't forget to subscribe and share with all your friends and family, and I hope this video is something you enjoy watching. Thanks. Is this thing on? Weird thing talking in front of people, isn't it? Right, okay, so there's my son Cameron, and he was diagnosed with AS when he was a kid, in and out of mainstream primary, lasted about 3 months in secondary, and then didn't cope in the special schools that he was in, and he's not attending college now. I've just left him in his little flat. He lives on his own. He's under psychiatric care now. He was diagnosed with autism and ADHD, needed a lot of help in school. A lot of autism strategies is what I'm going to talk about today, a lot of it. And they were recommended by the professionals. He had reports and assessments, and we just followed it and did what we thought was right for him. All throughout his education, basically the main thing that Cameron did was he made noises. So he would quack, 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 quack. He would make cracking noises. And obviously there were other things that he did, but they were the things that bothered everyone. And I want to talk a little bit about behaviorism before I talk about the strategies that we used with Cameron. Does anyone know what behaviorism is? Have you heard of it?
Presuming it's behaviour made into
an ism. Yeah, it's behaviour made into an ism. If you as a behaviourist, this would be your belief when looking at a child with autism. A child with autism needs to learn strategies to overcome social issues to be able to function effectively in society. Now, I'm not saying that's right, I'm not saying that's wrong. You've got to make your own decisions on that. One of the early people who founded it, well, it started off with a guy called B.F. Skinner, and then John Watson was someone that kind of took it a little bit further. And this is a quote from Watson. So this is what he firmly, passionately believed all his life. He says, "Give me a dozen healthy infants, well-formed, and my own specified world to bring them up in, and I'll guarantee to take any one at random and train him to become any type of specialist I might select. Doctor, lawyer, artist, merchant, chef, and yes, even a beggar man and a thief, regardless of his talents, pensions, tendencies, abilities, vocations, and the race of his ancestors." So that's what they believed. They basically... Well, I mean, you'll be interesting because I'm going to show you where a lot of all this belief is in the schools today. So what it basically means is we can change the behaviour of a human being. That's it, basically, by doing things. That's the simplest way, I suppose, of using behaviorism as an example. Now, here's one. This is, I would say, the most recognised behaviourist approach in the whole of the world. And what they state themselves is basically the practice of giving out gold stars, sounds familiar, offering consistent repetitive reinforcements and having students raise their hands before speaking. We all seen that happen every day. All owe their existence to applied behaviour analysis. That's what they say. And you'd be shocked when you see the strategies we use for Cameron. And these are all behaviourist-driven strategies. Okay? So the idea is, if we apply these things, the behaviour will change to help the individual. So these are the things that they apply. So remember, Cameron basically was just quacking and quacking and making noises, not sitting still. They were his main issues. And schools applied these strategies with him. They focused on improving socialising. So they would put him in social groups and make him have friends and all that kind of stuff. They would focus on changing his behaviour. In one report it says that they found that the more strict they are with him, the more he responds to it. Social stories, comic strips, zone boards, you know, if you're on green, if you're sitting well, if you're on red, if you're not doing what the teacher wants. That again is a behaviourist approach. Zone boards, behaviour reports, IEPs, now and next boards. Would you all agree that you've seen some of them in and around? Professional reports. So these are the things that Cameron had involved, because I didn't have a clue what was wrong with him really, and it was just a matter of letting the professionals in and just going with it and seeing what happens. And this was the SALT assessment, which is speech and language. And they basically, if you look down, there's a tick on the word discharged. Communicating his communication is developing satisfactorily, so they just close the case. This is they had a behaviourist person come in, behaviour support they call them, and again behaviour support comes from behaviorism, and these are the way that you can always tell someone who wants to, whether they're aware of it or not, wants to change the child. Okay. Cameron pulled faces and made inappropriate sounds and called, he was calling the TA names or something. I can't remember exactly. Hello, how you doing? You're all right. He lost concentration, became increasingly, he got quite agitated and he could never sit still. And he says Cameron was aware of what he should be doing and was able to complete the task. Now, saying that someone is making an inappropriate sound is kind of making their own assumption that the sound is inappropriate. Would you agree? Yeah. Whereas Cameron, I just felt like his noises weren't inappropriate. I felt like there was more to it than quacking. We're talking about my son quacking. Oh. Here's another one. This is an individual behaviour plan. So whenever you hear the word behaviour, okay, it comes from the psychology of behaviorism, because it's all about a human behaviour. Making noises, refusing to do what he has been asked to do. So again, making noises is a concern for them and refusing to do what has been asked. So there's loads of these. These are just ones that just stuck out for me. So it says, Cameron is an able young man and can work and achieve well. And then down here it says, he is inclined to quack out loud and seems to see this as amusing, following a class joke. He will use this to, get this word again, gain attention. I.e., when he sees staff walking down the corridor, he does not stop even when ignored. Now the thing is, this is a behaviourist specialist observing my son. Fair enough, he's got his professional opinion, hasn't he? But it's always, all these reports that I've pointed out, they're always looking at Cameron making his noises to gain attention and as a negative. Would you agree? That's how I read it. Let's have a look at what the teachers used to do in one of his schools. So this is my infamous comic strip, which I love this. So there's Cameron sitting on the floor and making those, see the squiggly lines there, the quacking noises. And the teacher's saying, I wonder why Cameron is making noises. I'm really worried he won't learn as much as he could. And then speaking, it says, shush, please be quiet. And then the idea of a comic strip is you are trying to understand that someone else is thinking something that you might not believe, okay? So if you're talking about me in class, the idea is that, and I work with children that lack theory of mind, and I'll see kids laughing in class and they'll kick off because they think they're laughing at them. So some teachers will use these as a way of retraining the brain. It didn't retrain my son's brain, it just made him more anxious and more confused because he didn't understand it. And at this point, I was quite young. I was in my psychology, doing a psychology degree, and I started questioning these autism strategies because for me, I didn't see that Cameron could do this because I just saw that there was something else going on with my son. I didn't actually think that he should be made to sit still if he was in assembly, or he should put his hand up when he's in class. That's just me, that's just what I believed. And I always went in and spoke the way I felt about this, but I was always shut down, even to the point I was banned from certain meetings and stuff. And I really, even today now, I'm even more passionate now, which hopefully I'll show you why. But comic strips we use with my son. An autism behaviour strategy. I will change the way this child is thinking. That's what it's all about. So for 2 years, all these different strategies were used. And as you can see, I've highlighted them in yellow. Calling out, making noises, calling out, making noises. Mate, that's all he did for 2.5 years. All the professionals came in and they said, try this, apply that, do this, try that. Cameron, stop doing that. It was all about him stopping it. And he got worse, he didn't get better. So I got, as a parent, got more frustrated. Because even at one point, me and the mum was blamed. Because this is what happens, you see, when professionals and teachers apply autism strategies and your children, if they don't respond to them. Some do. Please don't think I'm going completely against autism strategies, because it's years of research, isn't it? And they do help some children. But my son, they didn't help. And if your kids ever go through that, you'll find that you're quietly blamed, because that's what happens. Oh, it's the parents. It's got to be the parents. Have you met the mom? Have you seen the dad? We had it all the time. Forget what the professionals said. Forget what the teachers said. Let's listen to what my son said, right? So one of the good autism strategies that I found was letting him have a book in class to write down how he feels. And thankfully, the school listened to me. He was allowed to swear, he was allowed to name teachers, he was allowed to say anything he wanted, and no one could comment, no one could read it unless he wanted you to. And it worked wonders. It might not work for your kids, but it worked wonders for Cammy. And here he's writing, what's going on? The teacher is not letting me make noises. Now, from a psychology kind of point of view, he's wanting to do that, I would say. And it goes further. He can't make cracking noises, so what does he do? Starts writing it down. Quack, and he's going, Q, 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 Q. And then it's got Mrs. Eagle said, shut up and grow up. This is a great thing about autistic kids, isn't it? They'll tell you the truth, trust me. But Cameron wrote down what the head teacher said to him that day. He says, what is your problem? And your Asperger's is not your issue. And then it's got, it both made me feel, and I'll show you on the other page in a minute what happened. So this is a psychological assessment thing. It's kind of a part of an annual review, and this is what the he was a good guy, this psychologist, and he basically said, so I've highlighted it in yellow, he says he feels that teachers don't understand him, so this is Cameron, and that other students are unkind, calling him a freak. So he's starting to develop an awareness that other people don't like him. And then he's got, Cameron makes noises to make him feel happier. Okay, so that's the first time I've come across a positive statement about his noises. Now, are the noises annoying? Hell yeah, it's cracking and making stupid noises. But this is the first time I was in agreement with someone. And then he goes, but he feels teachers think it does, he feels teachers think he's doing it to annoy them. He recognises that it can be disturbing for other students, but he feels he needs to do it to help him cope. Now, this is interesting, when a teacher tells him off, back in that one report where it says being stricter with Cameron works, well, actually it doesn't, because it says it makes him more agitated. And they wondered, whenever Cameron ran from school or ran from the class or ran away, they never looked at their attitude towards him or their approach to him. It's always about Cameron. They didn't listen to him. That's my son when he was little. Bless him. So that's the other side of that page. I cannot put into words how angry I'm in a bloody rage. And he's got here, look, as a teacher, and he's throwing a knife at the teacher. Now, and he's got sticking up his finger, curse them all, effing teachers. And then he's got rage, and those dots on the paper are him stabbing his pencil into the page. So I started questioning these wonderful, amazing autism strategies, because they can't be designed to get a kid to that level, can they? I don't know. 2 years of them, and that's what we got. And we had to pick it up. And then he started, he wasn't a dart, he always thought about death and stuff, but Cammy was not he's a lovely kid. And it's really sad that that's what these teachers did. Now, I decided that I wanted to look at his journey a little bit, just to give you an idea of the support that he did get. So he was diagnosed when he was about 4. Primary school, he got autism support, the ones I listed. He even had child and mental health support as well. The ed psychs came in a lot. But what he ended up doing in primary, it was in 3 schools. And he got kicked out of 2. The last one, lovely woman, but all she used to do was play Lego with him in the head's office, because they didn't know what to do with him. Because they'd tried all these strategies, they didn't work. Autism strategies were used. We've just about got him to secondary. He lasted 3 months, still under CAMS, a little bit more intense therapy under CAMS now, because he was kind of in that between, because they were really worried about him, but they didn't know what to do to help him. Teachers didn't understand, and at one point he threatened to break his legs if he jumped off the stairs. He knew that, he said to me, "Dad, if I jump off the stairs, they wouldn't let me come home. So if I jump, then I know my legs are going to break and you'll have to come and get me." And for me, I just said to the school, "Come on, guys, it don't matter what you're doing. You're not doing it right, are you? Because why would a kid feel that way about school?" And they just fobbed me off and I got banned from meetings. Ran away from school, I had to leave my job. Social services got involved. Autism strategies were used again. Special school. So he's going to a special school, so it's all right. He got his EHC, well, it was a statement back then. Didn't cope, still under CAMS. Teachers didn't understand. Don't be surprised in special schools if teachers don't understand, because just because you get a job in a special school doesn't mean you get it. Anyway, I won't go down that road. Ran away again. I knew at one point he knew he had to get home because his anxiety is unbearable. He still is now, bless him. And he was coming tonight, but he's freaked out. At one point he was running down the M6, down the thingy side way, because he knew that that's where our home was, that way. And the police helicopters had to come out. And he didn't have a clue what was going on. And if you met him, you'd be like, what? I mean, he's a lovely lad. He just would not know this was coming. Autism strategies were used a lot, actually, in the special school. You know, they had signs on the doors and everything, all the little symbols and stuff. Didn't help him. Special college. They were great with him and they bent over backwards to help him, but he still could not cope with education. Whether things were too late for him back then, I don't know. They did try. They picked him up. He had a taxi service that used to come and get him. Couldn't cope though. Could cope probably an hour a day or something like that. Again, autism strategies were used all the time. Mainstream. He wanted to come out special and go to mainstream. Didn't last. So let's just move on from that. No, there he is now. Nothing worked. And I am a critical thinker. I went through school not supported. I was kicked out of school when I was like 14, and you know, I really just wanted my son to be happy in education, and I just had this dream that my son would be happy. Why didn't anything work? That was it. That was the one simple question that changed my whole professional career, my parenting view on everything. Why didn't anything work? So that's the end of part one. Please come and visit this page tomorrow. It gets really funny and gets really good, because once you move away from behaviorism, you look at a thing called child-centeredness, and it's something that's really helped my son get through a lot of his life and helped me, and it's stuff that I share every day in my practice. So yeah, hopefully it'll be another insightful video, and please again like and share and spread the word and do everything you can to help me grow this this little autism thing that I'm doing on YouTube. Thanks very much, and I'll see you tomorrow.